So, welcome everyone to our very first episode of the Secret Lives of Easy Collectors. In this podcast series, you will get to know our humans of ezyCollect a little bit better, and you'll learn what they are passionate about and what they do outside of their work life at ezyCollect. And today, I welcome Laura Walker to our podcast series. Thanks, Laura, for taking the time to join us. We're really excited to hear what kind of secrets you're going to share with us today.
I shall unravel the mysteries of the universe.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear it. So, Laura, tell me just in the beginning to introduce yourself kind of a little bit. What's your role at ezyCollect?
So I'm the account executive at ezyCollect. I've actually been here since 2018, so I've seen a lot of salespeople come and go, and I've actually been here the longest now out of all of the sales team members, so yeah.
Oh yeah, you're like the old rabbit of ezyCollect.
Yes.
You just celebrated your 3 years at ezyCollect, didn't you?
That's right, on the 20th of August.
Awesome. That's such a long time. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and this actually was my first proper job outside of working at Bed Bath & Table. So hopefully I get to stay here for a long time to come.
Yeah, we would love that too. You're a very valuable member of ezyCollect, so we'd love to see you here forever, obviously. But we're not here really to talk about your work at ezyCollect today, because as I said, we would love to get to know you a little bit better and find out what you do outside of ezyCollect. So the first question today I have for you, Laura, is so long before you started actually knowing about ezyCollect and thinking about ezyCollect and working here, as a child, what was your first dream job?
I'd say my very first dream job was to be a vet. And then I found out that you have to put animals down if you're a vet. And then I wanted to be David Attenborough.
Oh,
so I wanted to go around the world making nature documentaries.
This is so funny. What made this become your dream?
Well, I've always really loved animals. So when I grew up with my brothers, and my parents actually homeschooled me until I was in year 5. And so one of our biggest sources of education for science was David Attenborough documentaries. And so we watched all of them and watched all of these other nature documentaries as well. And then we also had some pets, and we played outside in nature a lot. And so I was very much, I had a lot of affinity with animals. And so I wanted to work with them as my job. And then I think there was also, when you're a kid, you read a lot of books where animals are the main character, like Peter Rabbit or Redwall or stuff like that. So I think that's really what got me into that initially. And then after that, I wanted to open an ethical pet store where none of the animals were in cages and that they were all friends together. It was going to be called Animazing. I wrote up a little business plan at the age of 8. So.
Oh my God, this is awesome. So how come that, were you trying to kind of follow this dream job a little bit when you were younger then? Or was it like as soon as you realized that you have to put animals down, it was like, no, I'm not going to do this ever?
I think I was still tossing up about thinking about doing vet school while I was in school, when I actually went to high school. But I was starting to learn more about science. And even though I enjoy science a lot, the more mathematical chemistry side of science was not something I enjoyed as much as the more, humanities side of things. And so I found myself gravitating more towards the kind of work that was more about dealing with words rather than doing stuff in a lab or mixing chemicals or stuff like that. So that was part of a factor as well, I'd say.
Yeah, I understand that. But that's a great dream job, actually, to have as a child. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. How is it for you? Like, do you have a pet now? or not?
I don't right now because I live in a small apartment, and the apartment terrace has is open. So the sort of pet, my dream pet is to actually have a cat, but I want to wait until I'm in an environment where one, the cat's allowed, and two, the cat cannot get out and harm native wildlife. So
Yeah.
it's not the perfect location currently, but one day I'll have a cat. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. And then I've got another really interesting question for you, which I'm actually really curious about. So if you think about your first vacation holiday, what was this like? Do you remember that at all?
I'd say probably the first vacation away from where I lived, because my family, like I say, we were homeschooled and we also moved around a lot. So during my childhood, we moved house about 15 times.
Oh,
But
wow.
so that was kind of a bit of a vacation. But I remember probably one of the biggest memories was going to Mount Beauty in Victoria. So I used to live in Melbourne, and we went to this mountain there where they had a raspberry farm, and they also had this spooky forest that had all of these like weird artworks that looked like witches and goblins, and as a child, like I think I was maybe 5 or 6, I was so scared of it because there was like mist in the forest and it was all very, very spine tingling. So that's probably the earliest one I can remember.
Oh, awesome. That sounds nice. So was your family a lot into hiking, or are they a lot into hiking and nature and outdoorsy?
Yes, lots of bushwalks, lots of going to gardens. So we would go a lot to visit like national trust estates that had all of these gardens, and we'd go there, and also various zoos and nature reserves.
Yeah. Do you think this is where your passion for plants came from? Because I got the little garden in the office, and we
Yes.
sent you like some nice plants for your anniversary.
Yes, I would say so. It's funny because my mother was extremely interested in gardening, and we always had a place whenever we moved house, we'd always be doing up the garden. And one of the places that we lived in was Lura in the Blue Mountains, and it had a huge acreage of land. And so as children, our job was to plant all these plants and like tend to the garden. And we did this whole transformation over years from this quite rundown place to a really awesome looking garden. So I'd say over that time, I learned to really appreciate plants. And now, I've got a bit of a green thumb, so I like to create my own little spot of paradise wherever I am.
Yes, yeah, no, I saw that. That looks awesome. And you're so good with it. Like, I would love to have a green thumb like you.
Yeah, actually, if you can see out there, you can
Oh,
see
wow.
I have
This is a
my
million plants. Wow. That's a great little space. Is this your balcony, or what's that? Or is
Yeah,
it?
it's my terrace.
This is so big.
Yeah, it is quite big. So it's basically the size of my room. So
Tell me a little bit, like as we can see, you really like, like that nature theme doesn't only come across for you like in the plants which are in your apartment, but also in your clothing and, your headwear. And I know you do the flower,
yeah, I do a lot of flower crowns, yes.
Yeah, so that's already beautiful. How did this come about?
So it started when I began university. So when I was sort of entering adulthood, my school had been very uniform based, and so I didn't really have that much chance to express myself creatively through fashion until I went to university. And I felt like I had the perfect opportunity to basically reinvent myself and be like as true to myself as I could be, and then everyone would always know me as that, and then it would almost like be a self-reinforcing thing that almost the more creative in self-expression I became, the more I would also live up to the confident persona that dressing like this kind of forces you to be, because I used to be quite shy, and so one of the things that I would do ever since I was small is or since I was 13 is to create a goddess persona for myself, and it was an alter ego that I called Athena, and that's why on my LinkedIn profile I'm now called Laura Athena.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to also remind myself of who I was inside every time I looked in the mirror, or just, you know, people would see me as that and treat me as that, and then it's sort of, I would more and more become that. And that did come to be the case. So how it became flowers of all things is, one time I went to a party where they had flower crowns as like part of the costume. And I wore this flower crown and I was like, oh, this just feels so me. I wish I could wear this all the time. And then I was like, wait a second. There is no rule that says I can't wear this all the time. So then I just realized that I could start doing that as much as I wanted. And over time, my self-expression and style has evolved. There were some very odd choices that I made early on.
I think this is beautiful, Laura, and I think it really shows your personality, and it's just great. Like, it shows your confidence, and I think more people should do that if they feel like they want to express themselves that way. It's a great way to do that.
Absolutely. The other reason is because I, until very recently, I used to struggle with an eating disorder. And so I was always worrying that people were looking at me and judging me for my body, even though they weren't, but I felt that they were. And so one of the other benefits of being creatively expressive is that I would know for sure that when they saw me, the size of my body was not the first thing that they would think of. It would be my personality and my creativity, and that they would sort of see my soul, as it were.
Yeah. Oh, that's really great. That's such a beautiful thing to say, Laura. Thanks for sharing. That's really personal. So I really appreciate that. I've got a couple of other questions for you, actually. Let's see how many more we can go through in time. But so, I mean, you've already told me a little bit about what you like to do in your time off. Is there anything else you do which is worth mentioning?
Absolutely. So I do quite a lot of interesting things. I'm an artist, so I do painting, I do drawing, I work on sculptures, I create fashion things like different headdresses. At the moment, I'm trying to learn oil painting. So I actually signed up for a Zoom oil painting course that starts next week, called Visionary Art Painting, which is all about trying to express transcendent spiritual states of consciousness through painting. So that's where I'm trying to evolve as a visual artist. I also write a lot. So I have a blog where I write about whatever philosophical or topical things that interest me. And I've also become part of a philosophy club over Zoom during lockdown. So that's been really, really fun for me as time goes on. We all hang out and we have these things called symposiums where we listen to philosophy and then we all discuss it and try and evolve our understanding of reality through that.
Wow, that sounds like a very busy leisure time activity life. I don't know how you fit that all into your week and weekends.
Well, I don't do all of it every day.
But it's great. Like, definitely, we can definitely see your creative direction there, and it's great to see. Do you have, I mean, yeah, like you said, you're writing a blog as well. Like, would you ever think of writing a book potentially?
Yes, absolutely. So I actually want to write at least 2 books. One is a fiction book and one is a non-fiction book. The fiction book is actually a story that I've been working on since I was 18 years old. It's a post-apocalyptic science fiction story called World Sharers, which is about a society that's post-climate change and about people that can share dreams and how they use dream sharing for achieving social change. And there's a lot of other themes, but we can't be here all day. But I've been working on that. And then the other thing I want to write eventually, once I understand it enough, is a nonfiction book about the nature of consciousness, because I find that insanely interesting. And I feel like when I'm maybe 50 or 60 years old, I will finally have something to contribute to the overall human understanding of that topic. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. Have you started writing anything yet, or do you think you'll use some of your blog posts?
Yeah, so I have a little I got one of those beautiful gilt notebooks, you know, the ones with the beautiful embossed covers, just for writing down my thoughts on the nature of consciousness. So I'm building up my notes as I go, but so far it's mainly for my own understanding. And then eventually I'm sure I'll take some of those notes and put them into a book.
Yeah, oh, awesome. That sounds so inspiring. I can't wait to read your books, Laura. Hopefully you can start writing at least one of them soon, because that sounds really, really good and really interesting. If you, yeah, like, it sounds like you're already so skilled, with so many things, but is there any other skill you think you'd like to learn?
Oh, so many things. Like, I want to be a Renaissance woman eventually, like someone that is an expert at many different things in many different industries. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that after I work in corporate, I want to do a psychology degree and become a therapist, actually. And so learning more about the brain, learning more about how to help people heal from different illnesses or trauma is something that I would love to learn how to do, because there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of things that I could relate to with people, and people seem to come to me with their problems already. So I'm sort of like, I wish I had actual good advice to give or something.
Yeah.
But I also want to learn more about like living off the land and living sustainably.
Yeah.
Because I ultimately want to own an off the grid animal sanctuary that is also self-sustaining, has an orchard, has permaculture, has solar panels, all of those things, so that if there's an apocalypse, that I will be able to live off the land and have a pretty good life.
Sounds awesome. So that means then for living your dream life in the future and being able to live so remotely, you'd obviously need to learn some more skills around how to make that happen, right?
Yes, absolutely. So more like more of the actual physical skills to do with farming and so forth.
Yeah.
Animal husbandry, all of that.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot to learn. I feel like a lot of people nowadays have that dream. But I think it's great. The more people can do all these things and learn how to live sustainably and remotely and grow their own fruit and vegetables and animals, it's awesome. It's a great idea. And just to my last question, to wrap this up, is if you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Okay, so this is going to sound a bit esoteric, but I've recently been getting into what's called non-dual consciousness, which is the realization that everything really is connected, and that what you think of as you and your ego and your separate self that's a construct of your mind. And so when you think that you're separate from people, from the environment, that, that there's some kind of category of person or some kind of category of life that you're either in or you're out, that all of that is in your mind, and that really we are all one. And that the more of us realize that, I think that the world would be a much better place. There would be less exploitation and there would be less tribalism overall. So I think the more people that could feel that, not just know it intellectually, but feel it, I think that would be a wonderful thing.
So you'd like to spread, like, if you could teach people how to live this or act like this, that's what you would try to do? Become like an ambassador.
Yeah, that's another of the things I want to do in my life.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, no, I think that sounds great. That was all the questions I wanted to ask you today, Laura. Thanks so much for sharing all your secrets with us. This is very interesting. A lot I've never heard about you before. So I'm sure all the others will think exactly the same. So thanks so much for that today.